Greetings, Jellyspoons! Today I am giving you a time-lapse video of me getting into makeup whilst I chatter on about things. So, pretending to be a professional first of all, if you would like to support me, I have a Ko-fi and a Patreon, etc, etc, and I also do commissions. If you'd like to go over to my Ko-fi page, you can get a personalised message from the lovely Mollymauk, the ineffable Lucien, the wonderful Kingsley, Peter Pan, all the way from the Neverland, or if you'd like a Shakespearean monologue sent to you from Puck from A Midsummer Night's Dream, hit up my Ko-fi commissions. If you would like me to send you a message from a character that I have not listed, send me a message and we can chat about what I could possibly do for you as well. Alright, so, pretending to be a professional over, what is this video about? Well, let's go. So you know how all two of you have been missing my musical theatre content? Well, we're back on that for a hot minute, because WiCKED is coming back in September to the UK. I am super excited about it, I keep seeing posts about it, and I'm gonna ride this hype train and chat just a little bit about, well, not just musicals, but mostly WiCKED itself. I may do another video in September about it closer to the time, but for now, I am gonna get into a gender bent of an Elphaba cosplay. I'm going to attempt this, I am going to be a male Elphaba. It is going to, well, I'm posting this video, so it must have gone at least a 5 out of 10. As you guys will know, of course, by now, I am not a professional at this. Please do not take tips from me. If you want to copy how I did my makeup, that is absolutely fine. This is not a tutorial video, this is just a how I did it video, because, as with all the rest of my cosplays, it is mostly guesswork. But while you are watching me attempt to get into a male Elphaba, I do want to chat about WiCKED the musical. It made an appearance in my top 10 favourite musicals list, I will link that above. And hey, I am a theatre kid, and I haven't talked about musicals for a hot minute, so here we go. I'm gonna chat about WiCKED because it's coming back, I am excited, let's go! WiCKED the musical is very important to me in particular, not just because I have amazing memories of it with my oldest sister, but because it made a real impact and reminded me that female roles in musical theatre don't always have to be trash. I did mention this as part of my sort of gender identity and experience growing up, where I was really into theatre, and I got into musical theatre as well, and a lot of the roles that I auditioned for and that I played ended up being male roles. Some of it was just through casting, and I was given a role and ended up really enjoying it, and then over the years I did very deliberately choose, relate to, and only want to get male roles. Without going off on a complete tangent about gender identity, because that isn't really relevant to this video, I do want to briefly mention it because obviously at some point in my life I did realise that, yeah, actually I do relate to being a boy more. However, that doesn't mean that my wish for really good female roles went away, and when I was watching shows like Les Mis and Jesus Christ Superstar, I did find them quite lacking. But more on that can be found in my top 10 musicals videos, I'll link those above. When I first watched WiCKED, I was in my early teens. Kerry Ellis was Elphaba, it was absolutely amazing, and it really, really just made me rethink the attitude I was having about theatre at the time. Essentially, from the age of about 13, I was convinced that most, if not all, female roles on stage, particularly in musicals, were terrible. When I had performed in Les Mis and Jesus Christ Superstar, the roles that I wanted and the roles that I got were very deliberately male. I did not like the female roles, and I thought that they were just a little bit, to use the word that I thought at the time, pathetic. As I watched more shows, however, and got involved and performed in more shows, I did start realising that actually there are some decent female roles out there, and the ones that originally I had thought weren't that good are actually fine. Mary Magdalene in Jesus Christ Superstar kind of grates on me a little bit. Her songs are beautiful, it's a really lovely part in terms of being able to sing well, but story-wise, and I know they don't really have a lot to go with, but story-wise, her whole role is just to sponge Jesus's hair, feet, feed him, and yeah, not a lot else. In Les Mis too, I didn't really like any of the female roles. They either were just singing about being sad over a man, or that was pretty much it. I mean, Fantine, bless her, she did get to sing about being sad about her child. Fantine had the most reason, for me personally, Fantine had the most reason to be sad about her situation and to sing in a sad way. Eponine just still annoys me. I'm sorry, I'll go more into this in my musical theatre episode, but I'm sorry Eponine annoys me. I do not find her endearing at all. I find her annoying. Because all she does is complain about her best friend not fancying her, and I just think that there should be more to her personality than that. Ironically, I did actually quite like Cosette, particularly the more I watched Les Mis, not because she doesn't just revolve around a man, like, yes, in theory her story is mostly around, oh, I meet a man, love at first sight kind of thing, but you can sort of get over the love at first sight thing because it's a musical, things move quickly, it's romantic, blah blah blah. But mostly I like Cosette because she is happy in the world of Les Mis. And I just feel like that is such an empowering thing to do, and that was the one redeeming feature I found Les Mis had for me in terms of women roles. Back onto WiCKED then. WiCKED really did prove to me that musical theatre in particular can have great roles for female characters, and they can not only have a great part with great songs, but they can also have a full story arc, and more importantly, a full, well-rounded personality. Let's start with Nessa Rose, Elphaba's sister. She has a smaller role in the show, and yet still manages to have a full and complete and very interesting story arc with a particularly dark turn at the end. But despite the dark turn, you understand exactly how she got to where she is, why she made every single decision, and what drives her, personality-wise. Then of course you've got Glinda, or Garlinda, or Glinda the Gar is silent. God, I love Glinda. On first glance, she may appear to be this shallow, vapid blonde, and she sometimes probably sees herself like that. But as you go further into her arc and her story, you see that she has loving parents, she has always been popular, she is used to being this way and to getting what she wants. You understand exactly why she is the way that she is, and why she expects life to go exactly her way. A huge part of Glinda's personality and story arc is her learning to accept when things don't go her way, and that actually sometimes life is better when it doesn't. Now true, a big part of Glinda's story was chasing after this man, but also a big part of her story arc and personality shift was learning to let him go, and realizing that she can be a strong, confident, on her own person without anybody, including the guy. Elphaba is, of course, probably the most interesting character in the whole show. She is probably my favourite, although personality-wise I am probably more of a Glinda on a day-to-day basis. WiCKED primarily is the story of Elphaba being the Wicked Witch of the West and how she got to be the Wicked Witch of the West as we know her. You do get some behind the scenes snippets later on at the very end of what's happening during The Wizard of Oz that we know, and you get to see what Elphaba was doing, and in fact that the ending of The Wizard of Oz didn't quite end the way we thought it did. I have of course done my Why I Love Villains video, I will link that above, and I love a good villain, but the reason I love a good villain is because I love knowing and understanding why they got to where they are. I might still hate them, but I like knowing about it, and Elphaba is no exception. Elphaba is complete as a character. There is not one single aspect of her that is not explored and well-rounded. She feels like a full person, she has a full personality. And I hate that that is so unusual that I'm making a big deal of it, but on stage, on screen, in media in general, most characters in general, to be fair, sometimes aren't quite fleshed out, but in historical terms, female characters in particular tended to have been just sort of one note. Elphaba starts off defensive. She has been green her entire life. Some of her favourite lines for me are when she arrives at Shears and everyone is staring at her, and she just immediately goes, right, let's get this over and done with, and she lists off all the things that people usually obviously say to her, because she immediately just goes to everyone, right, no, I'm not seasick, yes, I've always been green, no, I didn't eat grass as a child, oh, and look, this is my sister, as you can tell, she's a perfectly normal colour. It's show not tell. You know exactly why she is saying it. She is fed up, she has been treated like this her entire life, you know that her father doesn't treat her very well, you know that her sister is the golden child, but bless her sister also has problems, and you can tell immediately just, yep, this is all the things that everyone has been saying to me my entire life, this is how I'm expecting to be treated, and this is my defense mechanism, and it's sarcastic, and it's hilarious. But of course, underneath the sarcasm, and underneath the ripples of laughter through the audience, you still feel very sorry for her. She is a likeable and understandable character. She seeks out knowledge, she wants to do her best. She wants to free these animals and solve the problems that are going on in Oz. She is very sweet to her professor. She has absolutely no prejudices herself, despite being prejudiced against her entire life. She herself, Elphaba, is a wonderful, wonderful person. It's just sad that pretty much nobody else gets to see it, except for Fiyero and Glinda. By the end of the story, all the best parts of Elphaba have been illuminated in this utter confidence. She radiates confidence, she knows what she believes in, she has faith in the things that she's doing, and despite being treated by everyone else as wicked, and having her own doubts about whether she is doing the right thing for the right reasons or not, still she persists, even when she believes that the best thing to do for the world and her best friend is to not be in it anymore. A big part of Glinda's character arc is learning that she can stand on her own and stand up for the right things and still be respected and listened to. A big part of Elphaba's storyline is learning that sometimes standing up for the things that are the right things mean that people won't listen to you, and that sometimes being alone doesn't mean being lonely. Both of those are, I think, really good messages to send to your audience when you're making a show. And of course, another really important theme of WiCKED is friendship, and just how powerful and loving a true friendship bond can be, and how it can come from the strangest of places sometimes. Now, of course, there are moments in WiCKED where Elphaba and Glinda are, for lack of a better term, arguing over a man, which is really not what you want a show to be about. But that's the point. That's not what WiCKED is about. Fiyero is in 2 songs, really. I'm actually pretty sure Nessa Rose has more lines than Fiyero, but don't quote me on that. They could be about equal. But more importantly, Fiyero is an extra in this story. He is a very well-rounded and fleshed out character with his own arc in his own right, but this story is about the girls. This story is about Elphaba and Glinda. And Fiyero does play a part, but he isn't this stereotypical, oh, the girls are arguing over a guy thing. They actually get over that fairly quickly, and the way they deal with it is what is important. Losing Fiyero is actually very important for Glinda, because she realizes she never needed him in the first place. Fiyero being able to look past Elphaba's skin and fall in love with the personality that she has and the person that she is a huge part of Elphaba's story. And both of them actually end up rescuing each other, quite literally. Fiyero, but more predominantly Glinda, teach Elphaba that she can actually trust other people. WiCKED is also interesting because technically, I don't think any character really has a happy ending. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to know the ending of WiCKED, please skip this bit, skip ahead about 30 to 45 seconds. So, spoiler alert, Nessa Rose, by the end of WiCKED, is obviously dead. The Wicked Witch of the East, she's dead. Glinda believes as well that Fiyero and Elphaba are dead, and Glinda is living an existence where she is putting on this front and this show and trying to make the world better, but she still has to hold back on her truth and what she knows to be real, and allow the rest of the world to think that her best friend is actually evil. And in terms of Elphaba and Fiyero, they have changed completely, for Fiyero quite literally, and they have to abandon Oz completely just in order to be able to live without persecution or fear of death. So, although some still are alive, in terms of happiness, I don't think it is quite happy. Glinda actually sings about that. She sings how happy is what happens when all your dreams come true, isn't it? And then she adds that sometimes there's a price and a cost, and sometimes you don't even realise that you've paid it until it's far too late. And I think that actually sums up the end of the show, because they've all had to pay some sort of price, some of them with their very lives, some of them changing physically, and some of them just not being able to return home. Altogether, WiCKED is a quite dark story, but it's also very touching and has amazing, amazing characters. Male, and most importantly, female. Alright, so I went for predominantly there's stuff on the floor. I went for predominantly the sort of Elphaba just arriving at Shiz with the little hat and this sort of jacket thing, and I think it went okay. I managed to find a few clips of the show on TikTok, so I did a few clips of that because miming along to musical songs on TikTok just never quite has the same oomph as watching someone actually belt it out on stage. So the number of times I attempted to sort of mime along to Defying Gravity just didn't quite have the right kick. I did make the hat, so bear with me. Man, this darkling outfit is getting a lot of use. I could use the darkling coat for this, to be fair. That'll be quite a good elfy outfit. But yeah, this is my Defying Gravity into Act 2 Elphaba. I'm gonna assume that male Elphaba can still be called Elphaba. And in true TikTok fashion, I have only painted one hat. I want to do another video closer to the time when WiCKED is coming back properly, because it's coming back sort of live so everyone can go watch it in the theatre in September. I will try and get tickets, I think, because I haven't seen that show for a really, really long time and I'd love to go again and see the new cast and everything. But yeah, Fabulous show, amazing, highly recommend if you have not totally legally watched it on the internet somewhere. Highly recommend doing that. Listen to the soundtrack, pretty damn good. Even my friend Kat, who does not like musicals, likes WiCKED. So, but we don't rag on Kat for not liking musicals, it's fine. She's incorrect, but it's fine. She's allowed to be, it's fine. So thank you for watching my attempts at a male Elphaba. I will be doing a male Glinda at some point, but I don't think that quite merits its own video because getting into Glinda makeup is very simple in comparison to this, and this is still not, you know, 100% accurate. For like a hot couple of TikToks, I reckon it'll be just fine. I will see you next week for another Monday Madness, and I will see you next Friday as well for another story time. You guys voted, and you have voted predominantly for me continuing to tell you about the other world, so I will drag out my D&D notes for that, and I will try to cobble them together into some form of, not quite story, the last one was very story-ish, so I might try and make it in a similar vein, so I look forward to doing that for you guys. That will be a sort of bi-weekly thing on the Fridays, and I will see you next Monday for Monday Madness as well. Obviously, my month cosplay of Pinkie Pie is still ongoing in process. Slightly different aesthetic to this, slightly more Glinda than Elfie, I think, is the Pinkie Pie. But yes, I will see you all very soon. Thank you for watching Jellyspoons, and goodbye. So I kind of don't want to take the face paint off, because although it's like not quite as blended and good and everything as it could have been, as a sort of first test run, it's alright. But more to the point, this is totally a look. Like, I need to find more green characters to cosplay. A whole look.
What? What are you all looking at? Oh, do I have something in my teeth? All right, fine, might as well get this over with. No, I'm not seasick! Yes, I've always been green! No, I didn't eat grass as a child! Loathing.
Life's more painless for the brainless. Why think too hard when it's so soothing dancing through life? No need to tough it when you can soft it off as I do. Nothing matters, but nothing matters. It's just life, so keep dancing through.